Imagine a country that spends more than it earns. Every single day, a country where owing money isn't a problem, it's the entire system. Where trillions of dollars are borrowed, not invested, just to keep the lights on. Welcome to the United States of America. Debt isn't a glitch here, it's a lifestyle, and the truth. The US can't quit it, not now, not ever. Right now, America's national debt sits at over $36 trillion. That's not just big, that's staggering. Every citizen, including babies, teenagers, and retirees, theoretically owes over $110,000. And yet the country keeps borrowing more, year after year, decade after decade. Why? Because this isn't just spending, it's an addiction. And like any addiction, it's easier to feed it than to quit. But this story isn't about numbers alone. It's about a system, a mindset, and consequences we're only beginning to feel. Here's the setup. The US government collects money through taxes. But taxes aren't enough. Never enough. So it borrows. How? By issuing bonds. Bonds are basically IOUs. The government says, give me money today, I'll pay you back later with interest. And who buys these bonds? Everyone from individual investors to foreign governments. Japan, China, Saudi Arabia, all eager to hold US debt. On the surface, it looks simple. Borrow, spend, pay back. But here's the twist. The US rarely pays back. Ever. Most debt is rolled over, replaced with new debt. The national debt grows like a snowball, picking up speed. With every turn. And here's the irony. Borrowing is sold as patriotism, buying a US bond. Safe investment, lending to the US. Risk-free. Meanwhile, the government keeps spending on everything: military, healthcare, bailouts, infrastructure, even things no one talks about publicly. Let's zoom in. The US spends $6 trillion a year but collects only $4.5 trillion in taxes. The gap? $1.5 trillion. That's a budget deficit every year, for decades. Add the interest on existing debt, currently over $600 billion a year, and suddenly that deficit looks like a bottomless pit, and it isn't linear. Debt grows faster than the economy. The bigger it gets, the more interest you owe. Think of it like using a credit card. Minimum payments. Look manageable until interest swallows everything. Except this isn't a credit card. This is the economy of the world's largest country. And the balance isn't just numbers, it's the future of every American taxpayer. So why can't the US quit? Politics, psychology, power. Borrowing is politically convenient. Cut taxes, fund programs, promise benefits without raising revenue. The debt doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It only grows. And the public? Most people don't see it as a problem. Low interest rates make debt cheap. You spend money you don't have because it feels free. Here's the absurdity. The US has the largest economy in the world, yet its financial strategy resembles a teenager maxing out a credit card. Every solution sounds simple on paper: raise taxes, cut spending, balance the budget. But every attempt hits a wall. Political backlash, economic slowdown, social unrest. The addiction is systemic. The debt has invisible levers most people don't notice. For example, the Federal Reserve can print money. Literally create dollars out of thin air. This keeps interest rates low, ensures the government can borrow more, and prevents a default. But there's a cost: inflation, currency devaluation, the slow erosion of purchasing power. It's like drinking a strong cocktail. It feels fine at first, but the hangover comes later, harder than anyone expects. Politicians say the economy is strong, debt is under control. Reality? Debt to GDP ratio is over 125%. That's higher than any major economy except Japan. The US borrows trillions to fund stimulus packages, bailouts, and wars. Meanwhile, entitlement programs like Social Security and Medicare will explode costs in the next decade. So yes, headline numbers suggest strength, but the system is balancing on a knife's edge. One wrong shock, geopolitical, financial, or economic, and it all gets messy. Here's the chilling part. The US isn't just borrowing from banks or investors. It's borrowing from the future. Every dollar spent on interest is a dollar not spent on schools, hospitals, or infrastructure. Every new debt ceiling fight is a gamble with global markets. Foreign investors hold a huge share of US debt. Imagine the consequences if confidence wavers. A sudden sell-off could spike interest rates, destabilize global markets, and trigger a recession unlike anything seen in decades. And yet, Americans are mostly calm. The dollar remains the global reserve currency. Investors still flock to US treasuries. The system survives because it must. So, can the US quit debt? The answer isn't simple. It could try, but quitting would require political unity, economic sacrifice, and cultural change all at once. Or it could continue, piling up trillions, praying the system doesn't snap. The uncomfortable truth: the US isn't just addicted. It depends on the debt to survive, and that's a question that doesn't have an easy answer. One day, the world may find out how far the addiction can go before the consequences catch up. Until then, the debt clock keeps ticking.